Only 13 episodes left.
It's going to be bloody.
Let's talk about our questions and predictions for Season 7 of Game of Thrones.
First up, for those of you who might not know this, Season 7 is actually only going to have 7 episodes, and Season 8 is going to have 6 episodes instead of the 10 episodes a season that we're all used to. So, a lot of good things are going to happen really quickly. Let's talk about them.
Starting with, what will Season 7 be about? Our prediction is that Season 7 will most likely focus on the conflict between Cersei, Daenerys, and all the other human characters in the show, leading to Season 8 dealing with the White Walkers. To put it in simple terms, Season 7, human against human. Season 8, dead against human.
Who is the next villain? The villain category is going to be shared. It's actually going to be shared between Cersei, who's going full evil queen in King's Landing, and Euron, who, after building up his ships, it's probably going to be looking for an ally. And since Dany has already picked her side, we suspect that Euron and Cersei are going to team up. Will any of the dragons die? Here's the thing. In order to make Season 7 and Season 8 even remotely interesting and tension building, you can't have the dragons be who they are and as effective as they are today without some sort of impediment. Otherwise, Dany's not going to have any trouble taking over any place ever. So there has to be an impediment. So we suspect that one of the dragons or more of the dragons are going to experience death. So dragon death might happen.
Or they might just get wounded, or something else might happen.
Such as?
Will we get an ice dragon? Going off of there needs to be an impediment for one or more of the dragons in order to create more tension and not tipping the scale one way or another. I think it's more of a hope than a prediction is that we'll get some sort of White Walker dragon or ice dragon or something that will tip the scales a little bit, make it a little crazier. Not that it really needs to, but it would be fun. I already have in my head this image that at the end of Season 7, they transform Drogon, because it has to be Drogon because he's the one we're the most emotionally attached to. The Night's King touches him and it just like the scales transform white. Can you see it? Can you see it? I can see it.
Another possibility to transform a dragon would be potentially to have dragon glass be used as a weapon against the dragon, which we know has the effect of transforming a human into a White Walker. It is a possibility that it could also transform a dragon into a White Walker.
What do the White Walkers want? Now, I think this is a question that I had in my Season 6 predictions video, and I'm putting it back in because we still don't know what they want. We're still like, okay, they want to kill us, I think, and transform us into whites, but we still don't know.
My theory is, and actually this has been mentioned by one of the executive producers. In an interview, one of the executive producers defined the White Walkers as representatives of death. Basically, White Walkers are death. So in my mind, what they want is very simple. What does death want? Death wants to just kill. And I think that's all it is. It's sort of like an overwhelming force that just keeps moving and that has only one goal: to kill. For me, the White Walkers are the Borg of Game of Thrones. Is Daenerys going to take over King's Landing? Yes. There's no doubt in my mind that with her army and those dragons, there is very little chance of her not taking over King's Landing. Whether that will be without any consequences on her side is doubtful. In my mind, there's certainly going to be some pretty dire consequences, especially on the dragon side. But that's kind of what we're thinking.
And we also saw that Dany had a vision of the throne room being completely burnt. I think it was in Season 2. So probably consequences are going to happen on Cersei's side as well.
Is Daenerys going to get married? I'm going to go with no. As much as she has an incentive to try and ally with a house or a force of some kind, I don't quite see any of the known armies of known forces except for the North with whom she could potentially ally. So If she were to get married, it would have to be with Jon Snow. And I don't think she's going to get married to Jon Snow. So, no.
Is Jorah going to find a cure? I'm going to say yes, mostly because I want Jorah to find a cure and I'm really rooting for him. I think there are also a couple indications that he's probably going to make it. Number one, we know that they were able to stop the grayscale from growing on Sandrine. So there seems to be something out there that is able to stop grayscale. Maybe it's just in children, maybe it doesn't work on older people, I don't know, but there's potentially something somewhere that could help him. And then two, we know how much Jorah loves Daenerys, and when Daenerys asked him to go find a cure, she ordered him to go find a cure. You know that if there's a cure out there, Jorah will find it. Who are the other dragon riders? In my season 6 predictions video, I said that I thought it would be Jon and Tyrion, mostly because it would be like my 3 favorites riding the dragons. So I'm kind of gonna stick with that. I mean, Jon is a Targaryen now, we know that. And then Tyrion, I know some people think he's a Targaryen. I'm not really believing in that theory so far, but I do think he's really close to Daenerys, so why not? He could be one of them. Or
will Bran warg into a dragon? A third possibility would be to have Bran warging into a dragon because the Three-Eyed Raven had told him that he would not walk again, but he would fly. So, could it be that in season 7, we will have Bran warging into a dragon and flying away? I think it's very likely in season 8, somewhat possible in season 7, but hope. Keep hope alive!
Bran could also ride the dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he can warg in it doesn't mean that he can't also fly on it. So it'll be like double fly. He's flying the dragon and he's on it.
Yeah.
Right? Who is Jon Snow's father? So we had a whole discussion ready for this point because it seemed like people were still debating as to who Jon Snow's father was. But, before we even got to explain our thoughts on why it was, of course, Rhaegar Targaryen that was Jon Snow's father, it was confirmed by HBO. They actually released an infographic and that shows the parentage of all the different characters. And if you look at the parents line for Jon Snow, you'll clearly see that it leads to Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. So now for sure, there's no more doubt, Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark are Jon Snow's parents.
Will Jon and Daenerys meet in season 7? That's a really, really, really tough one. I would think that with 7 episodes to go, you have to have them meet up. I mean, they have to have some sort of communication, something happening. So we would actually think that meetup, if it were to happen, would probably happen in the final episodes of season 7.
I guess if Daenerys takes over King's Landing, then
she can't ignore the North.
Then Jon, if he's the king in the North, then he has to meet with her to kind of agree as like, we're cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Mm.
Will Jon find out about his heritage? I mean, you can't have such a big reveal and Jon not finding out at some point. It has to happen. And on top of it, Bran, who is his brother, is the one who knows about it. So of course he's gonna wanna, if they ever meet up again, he's gonna have to tell him and it's gonna happen. Now, will it happen in season 7? I think that they might make us wait, similar to how they made us wait to find out who his parents were in season 6. We're probably gonna wait quite a bit until there's like this big reveal.
Yeah.
Or they might be crazy and just like
do it
episode one. Like, here,
you're a Targaryen. What up?
Is Jon Snow immune to fire like Daenerys? This is a tricky one because in a previous season, we see that Jon takes a lamp and throws it at a white while he's trying to save Lord Commander Mormont. And it seems to hurt him because he's like, oh, and then he throws it. Could this be a mistake as in they either didn't know at the time that he was a Targaryen or they hadn't really told Kit Harington that he was a Targaryen, meaning that as an actor, he's like, well, I'm touching something that's hot, so I have to, be burnt and throw the thing. Or he's just not immune to fire because he's not full Targaryen. He's like half Stark, half Targaryen. And maybe Daenerys is special in her way, but you gotta wonder, does he have certain special abilities by being a Targaryen? By being the son of Rhaegar?
I think it would be a little bit overpowered
Yeah.
if he was immune to fire.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
You know, I think that would be pushing it quite a bit.
It's Daenerys' thing, right? Like,
yeah,
you can't just be like,
yeah.
Jon Snow, you are resurrected, you are immune to fire, you can ride a dragon. I mean, he would just get everywhere. Azor Ahai, why not? Let's just put it all on Jon
I
Snow.
mean, God, that's a really nice D&D character that we're building up. I'm just saying. Bravo! Is Sansa going to turn against Jon? So this is a little bit controversial because we don't agree. In my opinion, yes, I think she's gonna turn against Jon just because she's proven that she has really thin skin on a lot of different things. And she's demonstrated in season 6 that she was not very happy with the way Jon treated her. And I'm not sure Jon is realizing that the slights that are happening over and over again, combined with Littlefinger being a part of the situation, might lead to Sansa making a radical decision of going against him. What do you think?
Okay, well, I just want to believe that not everyone is just going to be evil and turn against each other. And it seemed like Jon and Sansa had a really nice kind of reunion, and she seemed to really care for him. And I think it's the first time that we really saw her, at least up to a point, be genuine with someone, because in King's Landing she had to pretend, you know, when she was at Winterfell with the Boltons she had to pretend. I mean, it's been a long time since she's been like with family. And I'm really hoping, and I just like wishful thinking here, that at the end of the day she's gonna be like, no, he's family, you know, because they've lost enough, and to turn against him would just be like, I can't do it.
You know what? What say you? Do you think Sansa is going to turn against Jon? Comment below, let us know.
When will Melisandre meet Arya again? If you remember the first time that Melisandre and Arya met, she took away Gendry, and she also told Arya that they would meet again. They haven't met again since then, which means that now that Melisandre has been sent away from Winterfell and the north, it seems to me that she would probably go south. And since Arya is currently the twins, the last time we saw her, it's possible that there's going to be some sort of meetup at some point there. I'm thinking this is something that could happen pretty early on in the season, because it's not like anything huge. It's just, it would be an interesting meetup.
Will Arya kill Melisandre? I don't think so. I think that as much as the Red Woman is on her list, because she has gone through a transformation and she is trying to find a way back into the graces of who she thinks is going to be the one to lead everyone to victory, so to speak, aka Jon. Once they meet up, there might be an attempt maybe from Arya or something like that, but I think it's more likely to be a team-up situation, the same way it happened with the Hound. Will Clegane Bowl happen? Yeah. This has been so in demand, especially from book readers, that the two brothers, the Mountain and the Hound, would finally face in battle. For me, it has to happen because everybody has been expecting it, and it feels like a nice little fit. I don't know how it would happen, but yeah. I mean, the meetup seems unlikely right now with the current circumstances, but there is a scenario in which you could have the Mountain and the Hound meet up, especially if the Hound is incentivized to go to King's Landing. Is Lady Stoneheart going to happen? Now, for those of you who don't know, Lady Stoneheart is a character in the books that leads the Brothers Without Banners, and that is basically Catelyn Stark, who has been resurrected, but resurrection was a little bit off, and all she is murder and vengeance, but she's not the old Catelyn that we used to know. I don't think Lady Stoneheart, as portrayed in the books, is going to happen in the TV show. Instead, what I think is going to happen is that Arya, who in a sense represents everything that Lady Stoneheart represents in the book, but she represents it in the TV show, i.e. Arya is the vengeance of the Stark. She's Stark vengeance. I think Arya is going to meet up with the Brotherhood Without Banners. It's going to be interesting because she wanted to kill Beric and Thoros of Myr and the Hound. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And somehow actually start leading them, and the team up will lead that merry band into King's Landing, where Arya will attempt to kill Cersei. So So that's my prediction.
When will Cersei die? Now, the prophecy that Cersei got from Maggie the Frog when she was younger is that her children would die before her. And so that has happened. Now, in the book, there's an additional element to the prophecy, and it's that a Valonqar would be the one to kill Cersei. Valonqar means little sibling in High Valyrian. Some people translate it as little brother, but I think High Valyrian is gender neutral, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. It could be a girl, so it could be just a little sibling of anybody, Arya, for example. And also said that the Valonqar would choke the life out of her. So if you believe that prophecy, then a little sibling will choke Cersei to death pretty much, which is kind of like crazy. So I think there are 3 potential people that would kill her. That would be Jaime, Tyrion, or Arya. I think I've already talked about this before, but I don't think that Jaime would be the one to do it. I know quite a few people think he's going to do it. And yes, he's killed the Mad King, but I don't think he really loved the Mad King. I don't think he was in love with the Mad King, but he's so in love with Cersei, and he was willing to kill Bran for her. So I don't know. I don't know if he would really kill her. I think it's more likely that Arya or Tyrion would kill her. That said, if it was Jaime, it would be pretty dramatic, pretty awesome. Another part of the prophecy also says that Cersei would be replaced by a younger, more beautiful queen. And I think originally we all thought that's Marjorie, especially when she came up and we're like, oh, she's replacing Cersei, she's becoming the queen. But now that Cersei is queen again. So with that in mind, the younger queen now would probably be Daenerys. And if you want to go even further with the prophecy, technically Daenerys is also a little sibling, so she could be the one who chokes Cersei to death. Also, although I don't really see her, I don't really think she would be someone who chokes Cersei to death. Yeah. It's not really Daenerys' style to choke people. And plus, I feel like it would be a bit more satisfying in terms of a story arc if Cersei was killed by someone that she either knows or was mean to or had any sort of...
But can you even imagine an actual fight between Cersei and Daenerys?
Why would she has dragons? She has an army. Why would she even go and kill her? She has no reason to against Cersei specifically. Arya does. Tyrion does.
What do you guys think? Who would you prefer to be the person that takes Cersei down? Comment below, let us know.
If Bran goes south of the wall, will that break the spells protecting it? I think that's a question we've been wondering all of season 6, ever since he's been marked by the Night's King, which actually broke the spell that was protecting the cave. So is that transferable? Is the mark also going to break the spells from the wall if Bran goes south of it? And is that how the White Walkers will walk south?
Do you think that's how it's going to happen? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But how would they go? Because, here's the thing. They made a big deal about the mark.
Yeah.
And how it broke the spell. And then Benjen made a big deal about, there are spells that were protecting the wall.
Yeah.
So that kind of has to come into play at some point. They wouldn't just bring it up for no reason. So there's got to be something. What will Sam learn at the library? Sam has proven to be quite a smart and useful character. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to use some of his knowledge in season 7 that he's been learning, because probably we're going to fast forward through time a little bit with him, like, I've read all these books and I know the secret to killing the White Walker or something like that. And he's gonna have to go find Jon or someone that will listen to him, probably Jon, because who else would he go to? So we're kind of excited about that. So those were all our questions and predictions. So many. I'm sure we forgot tons as well.
So make sure you leave some of your predictions in a comment below.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye. So how do you think they're going to get through the wall then?
They're going to fly.
They're going to fly?
Yeah.
How?
With a dragon.
But doesn't the wall kind of extend?
I don't know the rules of the wall, but if it's like a D&D kind of rule, there's a height limit of some sort. I'm just going with the D&D rules. That's all I'm saying. Dungeons and Dragons, not David and Dan.